click on File, New, Java Project. We'll name it Chatbox. To start off our project, let's make a chatroom class. This class will be used to start all of the other classes and run them together to form a whole. Go to right-click, New, Class. Let's simply name it Chatroom. We will leave it empty for now. Then let's create the two windows that are going to be used in the chat project. To do so, let's go to our Design tab and create a simple window. First, right-click on the default package, New, click on Other. Scroll down to Window Builder, swing Designer, and click on JFrame. Next. Now, let's name it Window 1. Let's create Window 2 for our convenience as well. New, Other, JFrame, Window 2. You will see some generated codes. Let's delete the comments since we don't really need them. Now, back on Window 1, let's go to the Design tab. On the Design tab, first go to Layouts, click on Absolute Layout, and simply click on the window. This will allow us to make our own design. Now, let's resize the window. For an example like this. Now we'll click on JText area, and then click on the window itself. Let's resize it. Now let's add another JText area below it. And now let's add a J button next to it. Now we will need two more things. We need a J label, which will be here. And then we need another button, which will be located here. Now click on the big text area and change the variable name from text area to display1. Then go to the other text area and name it text1. Go to the button and label it send1, and we're also going to change the text inside to a capital Send. The new button will become clear, and we'll also name the variable clear. And let's charge the new label to the clear button. Let's just change the variable name of the label to label1. Now we should do the same for window 2. Apply absolute layout. Now let's resize it. And feel free to copy all of these items by holding Shift and selecting them, then Ctrl C, and clicking Ctrl V, and clicking on the content pane. Once you put them all in place, let's change the names. Now let's go back to window 1. Let's minimize this code and also minimize this code. Above the private JPanel content pane, we'll simply create a static string username 1. This will be the username of the first window. Now let's also go to the source, minimize these, and do the same at the window 2. Now, at the end of the file, let's just go ahead and declare some variables. We will need to define our variables. We have these variables. The private java x.swing JLabel, which is called label1. We have a java x swing JText area called display1. We have a button send1, and we have a JText area text1. If you go back to here, we'll also be able to see them here. Let's do the same for the second window. However, this is a label 2, this is a display 2, this is a send 2, and this is a text 2. And now we have two windows which look the same and have the same functionality. Our first method will be called sendText. we'll make a public static void send text. And let's open the method body. Here we'll have a new string called s, and it will be window2 dot text2 dot get text. We're going to make a check if the s dot equals and then empty parentheses, then just return. And after that we're simply going to have display1 dot append window2 dot t2 username2 plus, and in the parentheses 2 dots plus s plus another pair of parentheses, a backslash, an n. Let's go over the code I just wrote. This line here makes a new string, and it gets the text from here. So basically, when you type something in, it takes the text from there and puts it in a string here. Then we have an if clause, and it checks if this string, or rather the text we put in, is equal to nothing, if it's empty. And if it is, it returns, which means that the program doesn't do anything. And if it is not empty, then this line of code gets ran, which simply appends, or rather adds, the text to the other window. As you can see, it takes the username of the second window, it adds 2 dots, it adds the s string, which is the message, and then adds a new line afterwards. What this line of code does is it checks if the string, which is the text from the other Windows text box, is empty. If it is empty, then the program returns and doesn't write anything new. If it isn't empty, this line of code gets ran. We will append a string to the display in our window. Now let's do the same thing in the second window. First, we'll copy this code and paste it there. The only thing we should change here is we're going to get the text from window 1, get the text 1, and also we will append it to display 2 instead of display 1. Also, here we're going to get window 1, username 1. After that, let's create an event handler for clicking the send button. We can do so by double-clicking the button. Let's go back to window 1, to the design panel, and double-click send. Where I put this comment is the place where we should put our code. What all of this does is get the text from the field in which we write our message in, and puts it into a string. If the string is empty, or we don't type anything in, the program returns and nothing happens. If it isn't empty, the code gets ran. We append the text in our own display, and then pass the text into the second using our method sendText. And then we set the text1 or our jText field to empty, so that the message box gets cleared when we send it. Now let's do the same thing for the other window. Feel free to copy and paste the code, change the display name, the username, and the text. Now let's give functionality to our clear button. We can add the event by double-clicking the button. Here we'll simply type in display2.setText and then 2 parentheses, which is nothing. We'll do the same on our window 1. At this point, we can run our 2 windows and try to send messages. We have 2 more things to do to finish this project. We need to make a server class that will collect usernames, validate them, and create a room. And we need to add some things in the chatroom class, which, as I already said, runs the windows, the server, and connects all of the things in this project. Let's create our server class and continue from there. Right-click on the default package, click New, Other, JFrame, and call it Server. We're going to leave it like this for now, and let's focus on the chat room. Static window 1 called win1. a static window 2 called win2, and a static server called server. These are all the things that need to get ran in our application simultaneously. Now let's write a constructor for the chat room. The code in this constructor will be ran when we start the project and make the chat room object. To do so, type in public and just the same name as the class, which is chat room. Then open brackets, and here is the body of the constructor. We'll make a new server object and instantiate it. Then we'll set its location relative to null. Then we'll take the server and set its visibility to true. Now let's write a public static void method called createRoom. Below this, public static void createRoom, and inside in our room we'll need two windows, so we make their objects on these two lines. Then we set the location to these coordinates, which are preset values I personally use. Like with the server, we set their visibility to true because we want to see them. Then we set the server's Windows visibility to false because we don't need it anymore. And now, lastly, we will need a main method in the chatroom object to start it. To make a main method, just type in Now we just need to write a few more things in the server and we're done. Let's create our server design. Go to the design. We'll have two labels and two JText fields. At the bottom we'll have the button to start the chat. And change the variable name of the first text field to name1 and change the variable of the second field to name2. And change its text to join chat. Let's go back to the source. Collapse this and delete the comments since we don't need them. Let's create another method called createRoom. Let's type in string p1, p2. These two strings will act as our usernames. The first username is equal to the text inputted in the first text field, and the second name is equal to the text inputted into the second field, which are these two fields. Then we have a simple check if the first username is empty or the other one is equal to empty. If either of them is equal to empty, we run into a problem, and then the program returns, which means that it basically does nothing, and before that we have a message dialog which says please enter a valid username. Now let's create the event handlers for the button and these two fields. To do so, we'll simply double-click them. When we click on the join button, we want to create a room, so just type in create room. Also, back to the design, go to right-click, add event handler, action and action performed on the text field. We'll simply do the same, create room. And let's do the same on the first one as well. These all trigger the same thing, the creation of the room. If you type a name and click enter, it will create a room. Now, if we go ahead and start our server, type in a name and omit the second name, click on join chat, we're prompted with the message please enter a valid username. There's only one more thing before this project is fully done. Let's go back to our Windows And here in the constructor, public window 2, we'll have to delete a few things and change one more thing. Where we have the declaration of our display2, delete the JText area, since we already declared it here. Also, go back and delete the JText area, the JButton, the JLabel. And now here in the label, we'll change the text to chat window 4, then 2 dots and plus username 2. And in the window 1, we'll do the same. We can start our chat room, which will prompt us with the server. We can type in 2 usernames, David and Fatima for an example. We click join chat. We're prompted with 2 windows. Let's type in hello. And when I click on send, it will get shown to Fatima. And that's pretty much it. I hope that this tutorial helps you understand Swing and its functions better. And feel free to tweak the code as much as you'd like to test out and learn new things.